Hello everyone, I am Seref, co-founder of Index Network. Today I'm going to talk about contextual internet, how we can enable that dream, how we can achieve that, and we believe Web3 and composable protocols plays a big role to achieve that. So, while starting, and let's define what is context and what is the role of context in terms of communication, in terms of reputation and identity. And context is a frame for a picture. Context is your space, context is your platform. Like we invented identity for the web. We have amazing technologies today in this place. They have identity technologies, they have reputation technologies. But without context, we don't have the space to express and interpret these meanings. So at the end of the day, context plays the meaning role for the reputations. And let's check the current status of context and how we represent context on the web today. And like mostly we are stuck with the big tech and the centralized discovery algorithm, and they plays the contextual role for ourselves. And like what they provide these content feeds, and these feeds are based on centralized algorithm, and they rank the data because they have limited space. And since they have limited space and these design decisions, like these information cards, feed cards, so we lost the context. We can't navigate around information. We can't check the background of an information. We just get what. Like we can't really understand what's happening. Like our identities, the context is also fragmented. And at the end of the day, the reason we relied on these centralized discovery engines, because we can't enable decentralized information discovery. That's the reason we rely on these big fat discovery services. But why we can't enable decentralized discovery, and why did we wind up here? So as you see, imagine there's a social app like Instagram and a news app, and like the context in real life is integrated, integrated in the identity itself. Like for you, everything is connected, but your context is fragmented into multiple apps, like a social app and news app. Everyone is designing experiences based on their understanding, and as a user, you can't control the context, you can't control your understanding of information, you can't compose your understanding. So as our identities, we believe context is also fragmented, and we should get rid of this. We should immediately fix this to create a composable contextual environment for the future identities in the web to express ourselves better. And like what solves the problem? How can we solve this like fragmented context problem? So I'm co-founder of Index Network. At Index Network, that's what we primarily do. But we are trying to do make the context open for any data model, any knowledge graph, like a social graph, attestations, or data models in ComposeDB. We are building on top of ComposeDB. So because the nature of context, it's also multimedia, multi-knowledge graph. It's the integrity of itself. And also it should be reusable, so that means it should be abstracted to be portable in between different apps to interpret in different ways, to be comment in different ways. And it should be also composable, as I said, based on your understanding of the world. But how can we enable this abstraction? So as you see, we propose a contextual layer. We start an index schema. So you index your content, you index your information under one context, and under this context, multiple apps can consume this app. Like one app can consume based on historical perspective, the other app can consume based on identity perspective, or the other one can process based on an algorithm. So what we do here, we are we expose context into multiple understandings by abstracting it. And at the end of the day, like we think like on the top of ComposeDB, it supports multiple use cases and solve this decentralized information discovery problem. And let me demonstrate a little bit. So we are on ComposeDB. That's that provides a technical interpretability to us. And if we are talking about semantic interpretability, as I mentioned, we should support multiple knowledge graphs and multiple data types. So you start creating an index and you name it. And after that, you start indexing your data, indexing your content, what you think is relevant, what you think is it should be there. And like it might be a product, an article, scientific publication, nano-publication, you name it. And then you start composable queries across them thanks to amazing developments in large language models. So as you see, there are 3 contexts here, like ceramic network documentation, lead protocol, and IPFS documentation. And as a user, when you ask one question, you can compose multiple contexts by asking questions to multiple indexes. So that's, in that scenario, LLMs are playing this synthesizing role for multiple contexts. So like ceramic network for making data composable and LLMs for compositions. So these are super best tools to play together. And then we integrated lead protocol to enable composable collaboration, because the context's nature itself should be also exposed to different user groups and different people. So it should be also like grifted, not like private and public, but like we provide NFT ownership-based composable collaboration. And like, for example, a community can say these NFT ownerships can index together. So that composability enables new user groups into Discovery ecosystem. And then when you enable context, the nature and the essence of context is hidden behind the privacy. Without privacy, you just limit it with subset of use cases. And we provide access control based on also verifiable credentials and NFTs. And you can say that, like these NFT owners can query this context, or these verifiable credential can disclosure this context. So yeah, that's all. And thank you for listening. If you have any questions, I can